Welcome to Warhammer 40K and the Bible, where I take Warhammer 40K lore to help explain biblical lore. And today we're going to be talking about the Drukhari. And you guys have been wanting me to do this for a while now, so here we go. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So, the Drukhari, or Dark Eldar, are kindred of the Asuryani and the other Eldari, an ancient and advanced race of elf-like humanoids. Their armies usually have the advantages of speed and technology, though they are often lacking in resilience and numbers. The Dark Eldar revel in piracy, enslavement, and torture, and are sadistic in the extreme. Dark Eldar raiding parties make use of advanced anti-gravity skimmers to launch high-speed raids on their enemy while still transporting a large number of their warriors. Due to their use of the galaxy-spanning interdimensional labyrinth known as the Webway, they are extremely mobile, striking from seemingly nowhere with little or no warning, and vanishing with their captives before significant military reaction can be mobilized. The Dark Eldar are unique amongst the races in the sense that they do not occupy many planets, but rather one dark city called Komorog. Sorry, guys. They are mainly pirates, though are sometimes used as mercenaries. Asdrubal Vecht is the supreme overlord of the Dark City and Komorog and the Dark Eldar as a whole. The term Dark Eldar also comes from him, being the first one to openly refer to himself with the Eladrith Yanese. I'm guessing that's where Yanid, or the name Yanid, or at least has its origin there, I guess, maybe. But we will talk about this guy at the end there, as I like to bring, Warhammer, Bible, and then back to Warhammer again. Okay. So we pretty much know the origins. They come from the Eldari, with all that bunch. Asuryani, and they became dark, dark-skinned and all that stuff because they lived in their city for a long time and stuff like that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the ages of the Dark City, Komorog, since the founding anyways. So we got the age of Dark Genesis, the age of Pain, the age of Plenty, and the age of Living Muse. So this is kind of like their history once the Dark City came about, right? And now we're going to start with but we're going to go into their biology, and then and technology, and then we'll move to the biblical side of things. Okay, Dark Eldar are similar in many ways to the rest of the Eldar race. Tall, lithe humanoids with tapered ears and sharp eyes. Now, the sharp eyes is going to come to play here in the biblical part, or lofty. But anyways, however, generations of the physical conflict combined with living inside the Dark City has led to a number of distinct variations. The skin of the Dark Eldar is almost translucent, an effect of the lack of sunlight within Komorog. I hope I'm saying that right, guys. I apologize if I'm not. A Dark Eldar's strength and reflexes are actually superior to that of the Craft World Eldar. Picked captures of the Evolus massacre had to be slowed to 1/4 speed in order to follow the movements of the individual Kabbalites as they slaughtered the Imperial civilians. Stories of the Dark Eldar dodging shots from lasguns and kicking frag grenades back into the enemy ranks are common. And within the gladiatorial arenas, a single witch is more than a match for any 10 human warriors. Dark Eldar senses are also sharper, allowing them to see their enemies perfectly well even during the pitch of darkness. However, Dark Eldar Psykers are virtually unheard of. The innate psychic abilities common to the Eldar race have atrophied within the Dark Eldar, partly due to their focus on the physical athleticism. Furthermore, to use any psychic powers would draw the attention of Slaanesh, she who thirsts, right? Okay, and this is one of the few things expressly forbidden within the Komarog, or within Komarog, not the. So we're going to go over their technology. Dark Eldar, like most Eldar kindreds, make use of advanced technology, including anti-gravity devices, dark matter weaponry, nanotechnology, and psychic artifacts. However, this technology is manufactured instead of being physically grown, and while Dark Eldar do make use of psychic devices, they do not use psychic powers themselves, for in order to use their gifts, Psykers must channel the chaotic energies of the warp. Such an act would attract the gaze of She Who Thirsts, and invite disaster upon the entire race. As such, the use of psychic pyrotechnics that are so familiar to their craft world kin is one of the few things forbidden in the dark spires of Komarog. So, one of the things is with the Dark Eldar is they, of course, they like the torture and all that of their enemies and their subjects, but it also staves off Slaanesh in a way, right? So, which is interesting. Well, we'll go over a little bit of the culture. Over time, Dark Eldar began to suffer more and more from the thirst. They developed an all-consuming and ever-increasing need to drink the souls of their beings. It is postulated that the cause of this is the chaos god Slaanesh, the great enemy of the Eldar, who leeches the soul essence of the Dark Eldar while they are still alive. Yikes. Dark Eldar drink souls to stave off this leeching, perhaps by sating the thirst of Slaanesh, or perhaps by replenishing the essence of their own souls with that of the rejuvenating effect that reverses aging. Thus, Dark Eldar need not to fear falling into the clutches of Slaanesh due to the death from old age. If they have a constant supply of souls, the usual source of the souls is the many captives taken during Dark Eldar raids. However, the Dark Eldar do not see the misery they inflict as merely necessity to survive. They relish in their cruelty. They thirst for it, right? That's why you get the thirst. So, now we're going to move on to the biblical side of things. So we're going to go to Proverbs 30:11-14. There is a generation that curseth their father, and doth not bless their mother. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. There is a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. So real quick, I want to show you what I'm talking about here. Where was it? Uh-oh. I had one up here. Must have accidentally took it down. Okay. Or did I? Was it one of these? Anyways, my goodness. I'm trying to find a better one. Where'd it go? You'll see the slant in their eyes. Is what I'm trying to get at. Oh my goodness. Where'd it go? I had one up here. I'm sorry, guys. Where did you go? Where did you go? Maybe it was one of these that I. Nope. Nope, that's not. Anyways, guys. Oh, here we go. Okay. You'll see, you can kind of see it here. Go. Or not. Here we go. Here's a better picture. So you see how it's slanted. right? Here's human eyes, right? Linear kind of. You don't see too much of a slant. So this is why they're all so prized, right? So here's a Skyrim. Here's a kind of a better version of it, right? You get to really see it. How lofty, you know, their eyebrows are even lifted up, right? So interesting. Let me finish this here. How their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from among men. Oh, man. Okay. Now this is where it gets interesting. The horse leech had 2 daughters, crying, "Give, give." There are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yea, 4 things say not is enough. Now, what do leeches do? Now, there is a such thing as a horse leech, right? But what do leeches do? They suck blood, right? So that's interesting. And not only that, this thirst stuff, right? There are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yea, 4 things say not. It is enough, right? The thirst. Interesting. So you got the lofty eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. So, right? That's, in my opinion, talking about elves, right? Or it could be dark elves. And if you notice, there's a generation whose teeth are as swords and their jaw teeth as knives. Right? And anyways, very interesting. So let's go ahead and move on here. So Isaiah 29:15. So just like the Drukhari went to the dark city, right? So Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek now this deep. We're going to get into who this deep is. Okay. Very interesting. To hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, Who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Interesting. So, we're going to start with this. Who is the deep? Genesis 1:1 and 2. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Okay. Now I'm going to bring up Hela, or the Norse goddess Hel. I'll see if you can see a theme within these pictures here, right? There's this one, this one, this one. It's the same one. There's this one. I'll give you a hint. It's the face, right? And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. I mean, you guys get it, right? Now we're going to get the full picture here, or somewhat, and see what's going on here. And this where you've heard a lot of talk of black goo, right? So this is very interesting. Ezekiel 31:4-6. The waters made him great. Now this is talking about the Assyrian. This is another Satan. Yes, there are many Satans. There's actually, I was thinking more like 5, but it looks like there may be 7. So interesting. Interesting stuff. The book of Enoch talks about 5. The Bible talks about 2, which is, of course, Satan and the Assyrian. Okay, so Ezekiel 31:4-6. The waters made him great. The deep set him up on high with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. So before we finish that, we're going to go to Niflheim here. This is the place where Hela reigns, in what they call hell, right? Interesting. Niflheim, Old Norse Niflheimer. I think that's how you say that. And in Norse mythology, the cold, dark, misty world of the dead, ruled by the goddess Hel. In some accounts, it is the last of the 9 worlds, a place into which evil men passed after reaching the region of death. Okay, let's go ahead and get through all this. Now, this is where you're going to see the rivers. Niflheim contained a well, Verglamer, Hiverglamer, oh my goodness, for which many rivers flowed. So let's go back. And the waters made him great. Now, is this where the fountain of youth comes from? The deep set him up on high, with her rivers running about his plants, and sent her little rivers into all the trees of the field. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of the waters. When he shot forth, all the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwell all great nations. Let me go ahead and read the full, or not full chapter, but okay. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of God, this is the Garden of Eden here, could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches. I'm trying to get to where it names him. Okay, I have therefore delivered terrible of the nations. Hold on, maybe it was before this. I'm trying to find it, guys. Down and graves to the end of none of these trees. Oh, come on. I made him multitude, the cedars in the garden of God. I made him stronger. The strangers, terrible, the nations have cut him off. Oh, come on now. And it came to pass in the 11th year, first day, fair the king multiple of like greatness. Okay, here we go. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches. Okay. And the shadowing shroud, no one pays attention to that, and of a high stature. Is this shadowing shroud is what that he's getting from the deep. Very interesting stuff. You ain't gonna get this in church. Just saying. Alright, guys. So now that we got the biblical side of the way, now we're going to move back to Warhammer. So, Asdrubal Vecht. Death is my meat, terror my wine. The supreme lord of the Cabal of the Black Heart. Asdrubal Vecht is the Drukhari Archon of the Cabal of the Black Heart, and the current supreme overlord of the Dark City of Cormorag. Considered the most devious of the people legendary for their deviousness, Vecht is possibly older than the fall of the Eldar. It was Vecht who shaped Cormorag from a sprawling corsair and port and collection of an autonomous sub-realms into what it had become by the late 41st millennium. So an Assyrian. Anyway, sorry. A vast, incalculable, powerful, and evil galactic metropolis located deep within the labyrinth dimension of the webway. Now, what is very interesting is the deep is also mentioned as a city. And what's another interesting thing is in the Bible we got what? The New Jerusalem, who God likens it to a woman. Like a bride adorneth for her husband, right? It talks about. So, interesting. Okay, among the murderous hierarchy of the Drukhari people, and from the lowest of the beginnings, Vect Vect gained and holds on to his position with both an unmatched intelligence, murderous ambition, and talent for cunning that is said by some the rival of the chaos god Tzeentch. So, the Assyrian had great nations under him. All the great nations, right? Kind of like this guy. Now, of course, of the Drukhari. But so we'll move on. Okay, Vec knows the primary weakness of all the major sentient, star-faring species of the galaxy, and those of his own species, most thoroughly of all. Quite simply, Astrabiel Vect is one of the oldest, most powerful, and most deadly beings to walk amongst the mortals of the 41st millennium. Alright, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and you guys got some new information, and I hope you guys are seeing there's a lot more to the Bible, whether you believe it or not, or whether you think it's crazy and fanciful or not. There's a lot more to the Bible that the church is not getting to you. They're afraid to tell you, actually. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.